Hey everyone, this is Josh from before, and I'm here with McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Collection San Diego Comic Con exclusive 85th Anniversary Superman and Nightfall 30th Anniversary Batman. These were graciously sent over to review by our friends at McFarlane Toys, and guess what? I actually came up on a second Nightfall Batman, and you know what that means? I'm going to give it away to a lucky winner. So if you want to be entered into the mini giveaways I do here, join the channel for $1 a month and you're automatically in the running. Easy as that. And member giveaways are open to international viewers. So consider supporting the channel if you want to get in on that action. These are essentially repaints. So we're just going to focus on what's new here. Both of these have pretty wonderful looking packaging. They look classy, they look sharp. And behind the slipcovers, the figures are out in the open, no plastic between you and the goods. They're tucked up in there, inviting you to pop them out of the box and play with them. We are going to start with Superman here, and he actually has a second layer of goodies behind him with a big blue base, and hold up, there's actually a third layer with a cardboard backdrop. We'll put all of that together in a minute. The figure itself, I have been passing on almost every single new release that features a reused infected Superman body buck. They've given us this damn thing more than a dozen times now. I love it as infected Superman, I love it as Bizarro, but it just doesn't make a ton of sense for regular Supes, in my opinion. He's too short, too hunched over, just lacking a bit of the regality of, say, the first release, or Page Punchers even. Add to that the fact that I don't much care for cel-shaded paint jobs on three-dimensional objects. To me, it just throws off the look, it never looks quite right, and when you rotate the figure and the highlights and the shadows don't move, it looks like a weird optical illusion. That said, I think they got me with this one. I was expecting to not like this at all, and it has won me over a bit upon taking it out of the box. The paint job is less akin to cel shading and closer to real comic style shading with hatching and feathered shadows. It actually looks pretty striking, and this is the important part, it looks good when you rotate the figure and look at it from different angles. It doesn't look like blobby paint apps just scattershot all over the place. He's got fisted hands only, which is fine with me. This guy isn't going to really be interacting with other figures. I don't need him to be fully kitted out. However, he does have a ton of stuff packaged in here with him. 85th anniversary trading card / certificate. Looks nice, but doesn't mean much to me personally. A flight stand, we know what that's all about, very good. And then this big blue base with the S shield on it, and you can peg this vertical disc into it with the DC logo. Just a thin plastic base, some imperfections, but overall, I like the way it looks. The cardboard backdrop can be set up behind it, and it looks pretty nice, but for the most part, I just don't love the look of cardboard backdrops. The way I like to display stuff, they just never really improve the look of my shelf in the way that I'm looking for. So it's not bad, but I'll probably leave it off and stick with the base stand. The other thing is that if you've got him on a flight stand, it separates him from the base too much. And there's just a ton of empty negative space between him and the base, which I don't care for. So I think standing power pose is what it's going to be for me, unless I come up with something else. Overall, not a vital must-have figure, but it did honestly surpass my expectations. I was not expecting to be won over by this, and I actually quite like it. Now, of course, the reason we're really here, Nightfall Batman, in slightly darker shades of gray and blue, with some of that same comic-style hatching and shading that we saw in Superman. We all love Nightfall Batman. The big questions here, is this the superior version of the Nightfall Batman figure? Is this an absolute must-have? And if it is, how the hell are they going to make the better version a hard-to-get convention exclusive? Inside the slipcover, we see everything he comes with. He doesn't have extra layers of goodies back there like Supes. This is the whole thing here. He's got the vertical card stand, which looks nice if that's your thing, but ultimately I have very little use for these. I am going to repurpose them into target practice silhouettes. You can see I was kind of testing that idea recently. He also has the traditional hockey puck stand with this great looking Batman logo on it. I do like it when they jazz up the hockey pucks a little bit. It looks sharp. And he has the same accessories as the regular retail version, a classic batarang and a pair of accessory holding hands. Pretty decent accessories, although the hand options don't bring out as much personality as I would like. I'm usually more into the expressive gesture hands. And these C-grip hands, they just bore me a bit. The cel shading, like I said with Supes, this really isn't my thing normally, but they pulled it off very well, especially here, where it's not taking anything away from the figure. It doesn't transform the figure into like an art style that conflicts with the rest of the DC Multiverse line. And I think it was a great choice to just leave it on the mask and the trunks, Just add a little bit of extra flavor and not mess with it too much. Comparing him to the original figure, we can see that these are slightly darker shades of gray and blue, and many of us, myself included, were kind of thinking that on that original figure, the gray in particular, it was a little too light. So this is an improvement, but, and I'll say this as reasonably as I can, and you can make up your own mind about it, but if you have the first Nightfall Batman, you don't need this. Especially if it's coming down to having to hunt one down or pay a lot of aftermarket markup to get one. It is very nice. It is an improvement over the original, but it's not such a drastic improvement that you need to go to excessive lengths to get one. The other factor in all that is if I found myself in a position where I'm gonna have to pay 40 or 50 bucks to hunt one of these down, I'm not gonna wanna play too rough with it. And if you know me, I like to play with these and pose them and push them to the limits of what they're capable of doing. And I don't want to do that with a hot commodity figure that I had to pay a premium for. Now let's see him on some of my shelves here with some other figures. First up, a whole lot of Batman, looking great there. Then I will throw him on the shelf with some of my custom figures. We got Tech Shield Batman and Air Attack Batman in the back row. And in the front row, we've got the Drophead Robber from Matt Reeves' Batman, Sky Escape Joker, and Bob the Goon. Now, with some villains, and ultimately, at the end of the day, most of my shelves are going to look like this, by which I mean they're going to be Batman characters. And I think this version of Nightfall Batman is going to live right here among the criminal element. Like I said, I don't really want to push this hard-to-get figure too far in terms of heavy play. I'm content to just let him hang out here, and I'll use the regular figure as the one that I play with and pose. And that is where I'm going to leave you, the viewer. Hopefully you have enough to make up your own mind and decide if this is an absolute must-have or not. But truthfully, if you were able to hunt down the regular retail version of the figure, I think you're in pretty good shape. And of course, if you do need one, I will be giving one away. So join the channel for $1 a month if you want to be entered into that giveaway. All right, gang, good talk. I'll see you out there on the field. Thank you as always for watching, and peace out.